For the video audience, this is very unique access. The cameras have left and the proms are still here.
At first, nobody thinks about a hurricane of this size hitting western North Carolina mountains.
We're trying to get through here. A lot of road closures.
They're very reluctant to even ask for help because they assume that their neighbors have it worse.
This is day 221, and we've charged nothing to the people we're helping.
It's Americans helping Americans, and it's probably 10,000 square miles.
So are you just seeing this all day long?
All day long.
FEMA had always been helpful.
If I was waiting for FEMA, I would be screwed.
Amish to the rescue. So past 7 months.
And this is this kid's first chance to get into his house.
The storm impacted more than what people think. The mainstream media really just blew it off.
Just over the hillside. It's total normal life. You come into a town like this and you would never know anything happened.
It's never going to be the way it was before.
Right.
But it's a rebirth, I guess.
The road is right here. As you see the white line where the shoulder was. So it shows you with Hickory Creek how much that came through and just wiped out. I mean, all the asphalt's gone from here. Problems are still, super severe.
Super severe?
Yep. You still have towns that it looked like it happened yesterday. Here in Chimney Rock, Batcave area, it's like we appreciate the help. It's come from all over the world, but as you can look in front of us, and this is just one little small area compared to how much devastation is still around, and we're 7 months out now. There's so much that needs to be done, and we made great progress, but we've only put in a dent to what needs to be done.
So we're going to get into it today. You're going to show me some of the hot spots, some of what you guys have been doing.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
You're with the United Cajun Navy.
Yes, sir.
Not the Cajun Navy. There are many names, right?
There's many spin-offs that, use the name and spun off, but yes, we're the United Cajun Navy, and we have, partnerships with other people, but yeah.
You came the day after.
Yeah, the next day. I came up with, me and my buddy Travis, we'd packed 110 gallons of gas and a bunch of diapers, a bunch of first aid, water, all kinds of stuff, and came up, found ourselves in Burnsville, North Carolina, and we're there for 14 days, sleeping in our vehicle, sleeping on the ground, just doing anything and everything we could to help people at that point.
So what drew you in? Just the passion or the purpose to help?
Just the passion, the purpose to help, and the fact that it was an hour and 10 minutes from my hometown.
Okay.
So close, and at first nobody thinks about a hurricane of this size hitting western North Carolina mountains. We don't think that it's going to be serious. So you sat around, you watch the news and other people's stories for a little bit, and you're like, wow, it's getting worse by the minute, by the hour.
Yeah, it was September 27th, my birthday. We'll never forget it. Were you working at the time? You just packed up and left?
Just packed up. I project manage a construction company, and I...
No way.
Yeah, I have a boss, and I told him, I was like, hey man, I'm going to take a couple months off, and I kind of, put my whole life on hold, and here we are.
Okay, so you came up here with a buddy.
Yep.
And then you got a gig working with the United Cajun Navy.
Yes, sir.
Are you glad you did? You stepped over to them?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I could have done what I did solo, but doing it with them just, it sped up the process. We were able to do it on a much larger, bigger scale, quicker scale, and we were able to get to way more people than I could ever got to, just by myself or with a couple volunteers of my friends. So this is where, there was buildings here. Most of these rivers were 2 feet wide, a foot wide, some of them in places, and the water rushed through at such speed and force that some of these rivers now are 15, 20 foot wide, and they just brought destruction along every single pass. So like the water here, it rose up to here, I think it was like 7 feet, and then it came over and just to these trees, where you have the asphalt right here, it was, 6, 7 feet outside of where the river normally is. There's a trailer there. This is a part of a roof and an attic, it looks like here. And then everywhere around this area, you always have your checkpoints that you have to stop to go through. So this here, you can see what I was saying with the way
Can you take the camera?
Yeah.
Just put it out there. There you go.
So you can see here the creek, where literally it's like a foot to a foot and a half deep.
Yep.
And the water rose this high to where it eroded this far, took this house with it, and then you can just see how far the river actually spread. Now it's, I would guesstimate 25 feet right here, when it's normally a foot wide.
Right. So did a lot of people they knew it was coming, they evacuated, or they were in these homes?
So a lot of
sleeping, or how did that work?
It was the most flash flood warnings in the United States, at one point in time in history.
Okay.
So a lot of people didn't, I've talked to a lot of survivors that we've worked with, and you can see here even just to where they eroded out here, and this is across the road. Yeah.
Wow, that came up like 40 feet in elevation.
Yep.
At least.
So a lot of people, didn't take it seriously. There's some that did. There's some, families that we worked with that did evacuate. But a lot of the people, they stayed back home because they're like, okay, it floods sometimes, it has flood, and, we'll get to higher level and nobody was, prepared for the amount of water that came through, because before then, it was already raining heavily the 3 days prior, mixed it with a hurricane, and it just,
Do they know how many people died in total?
They released a number recently of what they projected it was, and I think it was like 248 or 268 was the final number.
Okay.
But they just found another body on the Nolichucky River 2 days ago. So the count, I don't think they'll ever have an accurate number on the count, just for the fact of there wasn't taken into consideration the homeless community, the people that hiked the Appalachian Trail, the people that were here illegally, the people that kind of lived off grid that didn't want to be found or, didn't have anything to do with society. So there's so many considerations that people don't take in that makes that number way different than what it actually really is.
So are you just seeing this all day long?
All day long, yep.
Just hauling out
Yep.
debris.
Yep.
Okay, we're trying to get through here. A lot of road closures.
Go that way and then you get on 64 and take a left.
100% city would have let us through, but they're spraying concrete.
Oh, okay. So fair to say these are the heaviest hit areas.
Yeah, Batcave, Santenello, Chimney Rock, Lake Lure, Burnsville. Those are probably on the top 5 worst hit towns. So that shows you how hot water came here to the bottom of that house.
That came up big time. Jeez.
So look, there was a bridge here that's completely gone. So now that's their entrance to their house, which that even looks like it's been roped off since this.
Yeah, and you got big steel I-beams in the middle of the river.
Yep.
So what was this like day one for you?
It's pretty intense. Day one was, it was helicopter search and rescue. There was just so many calls coming in from help from all over, from hours in different directions, that we set up a generalized standpoint co-location with like a command center, and then we were just dispatching teams all day long. So we had people by helicopter to Batcave, people by helicopter to Black Mountain to Swananoa. We had...
So this area you were in?
Yeah. So we had people running here to help with search and rescue efforts, to do welfare checks, to elderly communities, to homes like that were no power. And there was a lady that she had liver failure, and one of our teams actually were able to get her out and get her on a helicopter and get her to safety.
Wow, just so much work to be done.
You can see this whole lane's missing right here.
Yeah, so we're getting some access, right, to a place where we need to meet a lady who has special access to...
Exactly. The only way you can get into Chimney Rock is either having a pass there that you're doing active work there, or that you're a resident there. So we're meeting a team called Precision Grading there that has done phenomenal work, rebuilt roads, bridges, things like that, to get people back into their communities, back into their homes, and all volunteer. We're partnered with them, so they send us volunteers that they can't use for different things, and we send resources their way. Okay. And like my biggest thing has always been, better together. The more partnerships that we do, the better, the faster the work gets done, because not just one organization can handle everything that's been, that's been done here. She said it's one of the only buildings standing, and she's definitely right. I did it, yeah.
This is interesting, guys. It takes on a whole different feel down here. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, Peter. Shannon, nice to meet you.
Thank you for coming out.
Without you guys, I wouldn't be getting this footage.
Yes, as you can see, there's a lot to do here, and there's not any funding to go with it. So a lot of it's been boots on the ground.
Okay, so I'm going to get into that today. We've sort of kept that topic on the down low so far, because we haven't really gotten into the action yet, but I want to get into that, like what's going on with funding.
Yes.
That's a problem.
It's a big problem.
Really?
Yes, because we have a lot of homeowners that are still very much in need. What we've seen is 7 months out, the donations and the awareness have dropped.
There are other issues out there now. People lose, attention span goes away.
Yes.
That's why I wanted to come here. That's why I come here after the fact.
Yes, and then you getting varied reports that are showing that the roads are open, which is not true. They were originally planning to open Chimney Rock up in May, but that's been pushed back.
Shannon, what's your background? Like, what do you do outside of this? Or what did you do?
I work full-time still. I'm an accountant. I'm originally from Michigan, but I worked with a food pantry in Saluda, and when the hurricane hit, I met the crew from Precision Grading, and when you start meeting the people here and seeing the challenges of what they're going through, you can't stop. It's really hard to go back to normal. You can see here where there's a memorial down here on the right.
Oh, right, the cross right there.
Yes. Where a bridge is missing.
Right. And then these homes up here, this is where people are living now, right?
Yes. A lot of them did not have insurance. A lot of the people that we've helped were retired. They were in their forever home. Now their home's gone. They may not have access for 4 or 5 months. They have health issues. I mean, it's across the board.
Look at this road. This is wild.
Wow, yeah.
This is a temporary road. The local authorities are ticketing folks that are here without proper reasoning.
Right, just so the audience knows, don't come out here, don't try to do this, you're not gonna get by.
Right.
Make that point, don't try to do this. Well, usually when you tell people not to do something, like myself many times, I want to do it more.
Yeah.
But there actually is a checkpoint, right? It's not gonna let you go by. Okay.
Yes.
We have Mountain Strong up there. And so just a lot of the community coming together, fair to say, like this really tried people together.
Absolutely. You have a lot of people coming in and giving whatever talents they have to try to get businesses and people back in their homes. Yes.
This is wild.
Yes. Community is great. They're resilient. They're very reluctant to even ask for help because they assume that their neighbors have it worse. You can see here, this was the entrance to the Chimney Rock Park. So this is the town of Chimney Rock. Right here to the right is where the entrance was. You can see that the bridge is completely missing.
Right.
This is why they do not want people other than locals and workers here, because you can see
you don't
they
want
are
people
actively
involved.
working.
Gotcha.
Yes.
And so before big tourist destination, fair to say?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Wow, they just go right in the middle of the river.
Yeah.
So the guy in the cat on the right is the owner of Precision Grading Company?
Yes. Jake Jarvis.
They're restoring the riverbanks?
Yes. We have over 70 people on our list right now that are still needing our help.
Maybe we can talk to him when he catches a break?
Yes, yes.
Oh, that's so cool. You just gently place it there. Look at this wall. They're just building up this massive retaining wall for whenever the river swells again. And then up here, as you can see, the river smashed into the hillside there, ripped apart some of these buildings to some degree. Some are salvageable, looks like these ones are. And then just massive rocks like that. I mean, the force of this thing, I couldn't imagine what this looked like when it was happening. And then you have a home that was here, chimney still standing, that's about it. I'm gonna run and talk to these people if you don't mind, real quick. Is that cool?
Yeah.
We live right over there where the chimney is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was it like that day? Did you evacuate or you just...
We did evacuate. We
Okay.
were right across the river at the Carter Lodge, which you can see from here, the brown siding. Our house didn't wash completely away. This tree right there, which is mostly dead, and we had planned to have it pulled down in November. It saved the house from floating completely away. But I said, I don't want the chimney torn down because it survived the flood and it deserves to stay. And I said, we'll put lights on it and plant pansies around it. And we did. This was sort of a living room, dining room that went all the way across the front of the house.
Okay, so what's your overall view of how the help has been and reconstruction and all of that? Or what's your take on
I
that?
think the help has been amazing.
Awesome.
I would have thought that by now we'd be forgotten and other disasters, whatever's on the front page of the newspaper would get attention, but we haven't been forgotten even though this occurred September 27th. I mean, look at my sign. For the longest time, we had signs all around the chimney that said, do not demo, don't demolish this chimney. Right. Once the house was gone, we flipped the signs over and said, thanks to the helpers.
Has the federal government's help, the state government's help, local communities helped, all the above?
I don't know about the state government. I believe
Okay.
so, but the federal government has helped us. They've given us money to help us rebuild, and they gave us money initially just to live on.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that we'll get extended rental support because we're renting right now.
And are you happy with the amount they gave you? Feel like it's a fair treatment you got?
I think so.
That's cool.
Yeah. I would get so angry when I would hear people say FEMA's done nothing when FEMA had always been helpful. I mean, I had to gather information they needed.
Okay.
And the town here has been wonderful to have meetings every 2 weeks.
Okay.
And so we've been updated all along. And I knew from having people from FEMA come in as guest speakers
Yep.
that it's not unusual to have your application denied, but it usually means that you've overlooked something. And you just have to go back, find out what it was.
So you just got to be on it with the paperwork and the filing and all that stuff.
And FEMA folks were on hand until recently, so I would just go to their office and meet with them, and they would do the work for me.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but look, plants are coming up.
There we go. New
My
beginnings.
roses are coming back. So
And then have most people left town, or most are staying here right
most
now?
are staying.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's made the town stronger, fair to say? The community?
Town was strong to begin with.
Okay.
Absolutely an amazing community of people that were community-minded and involved, and it doesn't surprise me that nobody left. I mean, some people have had to leave to get work.
Okay.
We're fortunate because we were retired and we had no debt, have no debt. So our concern has been for younger friends who in some cases lost their homes and their businesses.
Yeah. That's rough.
But I don't know of anybody who's not coming back.
Do you think there's a consensus when I asked you about FEMA and the government helping? Do you think most people feel like you, or it just really depends who you ask?
I think it depends who you ask, but most people from around here, I've heard the same thing,
Okay.
that they've gotten help. I honestly don't know about folks that are maybe farther back in the mountains, that
Okay,
are
yeah.
more remote. I don't know how easy it's been for them to get the help they need.
Yeah, you're sort of in a popular place here. Okay, gotcha. Well, thank you. Really, this is how we learn. This is how we learn about what's going on.
Interest in us and not
course.
forgetting us.
Not forgetting, no way.
Don't forget us, we're still here.
I love you guys. This is one of the
Still
coolest parts of the country, in my opinion.
I think it is.
It's a
too.
beautiful sliver of America.
It really is special.
You know?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, guys, let's try to talk to Jack.
How's it going out here right now?
Treacherous.
Treacherous.
Yeah, it's abusive on the equipment and us, but we're getting it.
Have you ever done any work like this before?
Yes, but it comes in spurts usually. We build boulder walls, as part of our company, or used to before we became all voluntary, but this is different because it's constant, it's every single day.
You guys have to go this whole river? Is that the plan?
It wasn't to begin with, it was to save a couple of houses, like that one down there was falling in, and this one up here by the bridge was falling in, but once we did a couple, the landowners that lost their homes, it's turned into the whole road pretty much. This is day 221,
221.
221, and you see my whole crew and all my equipment is out here doing something, so.
How many days have you gotten off in 221?
I took one weekend.
1 weekend?
Yes.
How does this work, the nuts and bolts of it? Like, is the state paying you? Are the feds paying you?
Nobody's paying us.
Who pays? You have
We're
to...
just working off the donations that come into the company. And
Donations that come in.
solely that. No, we have
Really?
gotten zero from the state, zero from any government.
Okay.
And we've charged nothing to the people we're helping. Sometimes they'll make a donation if they have, if they have the funding. If they don't, it doesn't bother me. We're still helping.
So are you losing money versus your normal life before this?
Definitely at this point, it's the donations have fallen off because we're 7.5 months, and people kind of forgot, and there's still so much to do. I was just talking about it this morning, but I can't say no. And since I've been here today, we've picked up 3 more lots here that want help. So, and these people are so kind, they come up and, you can't say no to a little old lady that needs help to try to get her land back. But,
Yeah, I just talked to one, the lady with the chimney.
yeah, I mean, they're all so nice and sweet, and a lot of them have lived here their whole lives. And
I would think the state government would have, you times 10 all the way down the river. Why is that not the case, or how does that work, or would that not work, or?
they're working hard. It's just they're working on the state roads, and they haven't done anything for the private. We're helping individual landowners and homeowners. There was homes all through here. They're just gone, but the state's still focusing on getting access here. And
Okay.
I don't want to put the state down because they are working hard, but they don't, they're not helping us any. We've had a lot of people ask that.
The woman that's got the chimney over there,
Yeah.
she said she's super happy with FEMA so far.
Yes.
Is that the case for most people, or what do you think? Or it depends who you talk to.
Mixed?
It's mixed.
Yes. I've heard of some people, getting $30,000 offers on a $500,000 home they lost, and then you hear some people that, I think it's hit and miss. It's how they filled out the paperwork and how they worked it. My life's changed. Nobody's thought about politics down here. It doesn't matter what kind of person you are. I mean, if somebody needs help, we've helped them. I don't care if it's been an Airbnb. I've been criticized for that, but that's somebody's income as well. So they need, they need help too. Everybody needs help. Only time I hear about disputes and stuff is when I go home and turn on the news or look on Facebook. But down here, it's everybody's getting along. Everybody works together.
Nobody cares who anyone voted for.
Nobody cares. Like I've helped both sides, clearly both sides, and it doesn't matter. Like,
all that stuff goes away,
just,
right?
Yeah,
Bigger problems.
it wasn't a worry of mine anymore. So. And I don't think it ever will be again. That's just North Carolina definitely proved that we can come together in a catastrophe, because we certainly did. And people helping people is what this has been about since day one. It evolved from tears and just a lot of working, and then now it's just, who else can we help? Does that person, if I see somebody walking around out here and I can tell that, they live here or lived here, I'll go ask them, hey, I'm Jake, can I help you? What can we do for you? Or what can God do for you? Because this has definitely changed me in that direction too. You see things that you can't explain otherwise, and things come together that you would never think that would, and the pieces of the puzzle fall into place. Every single person out there has a job they're good at. I happen to be good at grading, and this was a big grading need. But your job could be used no matter what it is. You doing what you're doing right now brings
we all
attention.
Have different skills.
Everybody's little skills, whether you think you can help or not, the pieces fall together.
Right on, Jake.
We gotta help. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too, Jake. Appreciate it. Respect. Yeah, it's really hard to capture the feel here, guys. I'm doing my best with the camera and with who we can talk to, but I gotta say, it's a special thing. All different types of people. Such a massive effort to bring this place back, and while it's a huge travesty, and I'm literally a couple hours in, haven't talked to anyone who lost somebody, so that's gonna be a different story, obviously. But as terrible as this all is, there's a certain energy and positivity and room for no bullshit that comes with bringing a town back like this. And it's really a cool feeling to be in. Take care. This business is still open.
Yes, so we've actually done a lot of work here. You can drive down by the beach. This is the Smoky Mountain Cowboy. They have salvaged a lot of stuff that's come down through the river.
Oh, right.
And
Look at that.
they have it on display down in the basement here, which was completely flooded.
Right.
And it's a museum of sorts, and they have their art for sale. And like the arches over here to the right, Jake pulled them out of the river, they buried them. They're basically making artwork out of storm debris. They have such a positive attitude, and you start to see things start to come back together, and it's never going to be the way it was before.
Right.
But it's a rebirth, I guess.
So it's almost the entry of the lake, right?
This is the flowering bridge right here to the left. You can see that it was destroyed. A lot of people familiar with the area visited there quite often.
They're draining the lake, aren't they? I think I saw.
Wow, look at this operation. This is wild.
It's massive.
So they're draining the lake. Is that what you said?
Yeah, they were draining it to like remove all the surface debris.
So basically, you know, much of the debris, like homes, came down the river into Lake Lure.
Oh, yeah, right. Everything just sort of ended up here.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, the infrastructure was damaged as far as like septic and that kind of thing. So
Gas pump. I mean, there had to be some serious ecological damage here too.
In the beginning on like Cane River and other places, the amount of toxins that were in the water from like bleach and just house debris and all kinds of other chemicals, they were like melting workers' boots, like the bottom of them.
Oh, jeez. This looks like a fun place.
Yes.
I mean, give it a year or two, right? Or a couple years maybe?
This would be packed in the summer, just absolutely packed.
Oh, this is nice.
Yes, that's actually where Dirty Dancing was.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It's a classic. Lake Lure, what is it? Inn and Spa, 1927.
Yes.
So people can't come here right now, or can they?
I'm not positive.
Yeah, okay. I just don't want to hurt any businesses, you know what I mean?
No, there are
so
some
if you're looking, maybe the inn's open, maybe it's not.
Look
Check
on
online.
Lake Lure. The Facebook page is really how people are updating.
Things are always getting updated, right? It's a lot of
Yes.
change. So what's true today in a month's time might be a different reality.
Definitely.
Yep, okay.
Definitely.
You know what, and again, I'm going to a positive, which might be out of place, but a positive I see too is it just levels everything. Like, if there was a class divide, let's say someone's really wealthy and they look down on, say, a certain, you know, dump truck driver. Now the dump truck driver is your hero.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yes.
And I'm not clowning anyone saying people of money look down at everyone, but you're just saying, giving an example, right? You might be like, oh, the trash guy, he's the trash guy. But the trash guy is making your life a million times better, you know?
Definitely. There, you know, people, you can see from all of the signs that were on that one house and multiple houses here along this road, they need the workers. They need people to come in who have the trade skills, who are able to help repair this area.
And then right up here, they were fine.
Yeah.
They're totally fine. Sir, how have you been doing out here? How are things going?
Been going pretty great. Just making sure that everybody has a job to do. Being reminded that it takes one brother to a sister. I haven't gotten your heart. And to know that we all in it together. So when you look around and you see the reset, it's basically within yourself too, to reset and try to make it right for yourself, what you're going through, as well as others that are here that are just as much as not fortunate and don't get a hand. So this is where we got to stand, and we give that hand. And if not, we create a hand, or we be the hand.
Beautiful.
Thank you. You're always smiling.
I have to smile.
Yeah.
Because I'm just reminding everybody, like you, one way or the other, we're gonna build this back up.
Yes, sir.
But even better.
Yes.
With peace, love, respect, happiness, and nothing but God transcends in us, you know?
Yes, sir.
You gotta remember, we're Americans, man. We always step up to the plate and make it right. That our back is made out of U.S. steel.
Yes.
And we're not going nowhere. Smile, have it in here, and somebody's down, pick them up. You know, dust them off, let them know. Let's keep moving forward. We're not gonna have no excuses.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless, take care.
God bless you.
He's made for this stuff.
I know.
He just got me all charged up. I feel like running through a wall right now.
Go right.
So go down there?
Yeah, that way you can kind of get a different perspective here.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, we've done the banks here from this house all the way down.
Yeah, what a perspective. Oh, those banks right there, I see it.
Yeah, the beautiful rock walls. And then you can see that this community here is so grateful for the help. In this house, you can see at the bottom, the stairs, they were missing. I mean, that house was almost a loss. And the houses all to the right are a loss.
Looks like they're bringing that one back. And there's the wall.
Yeah, so they've been like sourcing the boulders, and these boulders are extremely abrasive, You can see they're not flat, and it takes a lot of work just to get one of them in place, and it is very hard on the equipment. We're constantly repairing the buckets. It's very common to see like the homeowners in the area watching the work occurring, and then they'll use a lot of the sand and smaller rocks to fill in. You should see some of the work in these buildings. We've had the Amish from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I heard the Amish are down here.
You should see the workmanship and
they do great work.
Awesome work. Before a building is demoed, usually Spokes of Hope and the Amish will go in and pull out everything usable.
Yep.
And they use that in the rebuilding for their next project.
You know, it's funny, I've done many videos with the Amish. Before the pandemic, so many people were like, the Amish, they're crazy, they're living in weird ways.
Oh.
During the pandemic, when I shot videos, they're like, oh, that's so great. They're not on TV, they're not on social media, they're all hanging out together and growing their own food. That looks awesome. I want some of that. And now they've come to rescue, which is so cool. Shout out to the Amish. They're not gonna, most of them won't see this.
Right.
But actually a lot will, believe it or not, because it's more complicated, like everything in life, than we think it is.
Yeah.
So some of the Amish, like the Schwarzentruber, they're off technology. That's what we think of. But the beachy Amish on the other side of the spectrum, they have microwaves, they're driving around, they're on the internet. And then of course there's the rebellious youth that are gonna get online no matter what.
Out.
So.
Amazing amount of work being done here. This is a campground on the left, very popular for people visiting this area. We'll be doing work here as well.
How are you gonna build a retaining wall for that? That seems tough.
Yes.
Do we want to go over here?
A lot of work to be done.
Jake has got his work cut out for him. He's basically at work till he's retired if he wants.
Yes.
So keep Jake going, keep this thing going in the right direction.
Air Force veteran. He enlisted the day after 9/11.
Okay.
Just a servant's heart. And you'll see he's been working very closely with the Batcave fire chief. Steve's the fire chief. He was here during the storm. He airlifted people out. He worked search and rescue. We cleared like 2 miles of a mudslide about 3 weeks ago. They had no access for 7 months. We cleared 2 miles of mudslide. It's over here in Batcave.
What do you mean they had no access? The people living up there?
Right, the mudslide had taken out all road access. We had a volunteer from Wisconsin who came down for 3 or 4 weeks.
Beautiful old home. It's all about elevation with this situation. Seems to be for the most part, right?
Yes.
Being next to the river or not. This guy's, looks like a business or apartments. Phew, tree went right into it.
Yeah, look at that. Oh.
Went all the way up here. Look at that. Still here and still standing. Batcave. Just a quick note before we continue. My wife and I are donating $50,000 to several of the organizations you'll see in this video. These links are down below in the description in the pinned comment. And money isn't the only way to help. Many of them still need volunteers. That said, if you're thinking about donating, I suggest doing a bit of research about these organizations so you feel comfortable about where your money is going.
For your low carbs. You're in the South, right?
Yeah.
Oh, those are pork rinds.
Pork rind.
Brownies.
Oh, there we go. That's my language.
You have to pack your snacks out here. It's a serious survival thing.
Oh, this is great. A little caramel in there too?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. And there are walnuts in there.
Okay.
So hopefully you
little
don't have nut
little
energy.
protein. Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay. So we're going up to the fire chief. We're going to talk to
Yes.
him.
The Batcave Volunteer Fire Department.
Okay.
The chief is Steve Freeman. He's amazing.
As good as these brownies.
All right. You should have 2.
I should. I will. What's that say? Never be a prisoner of your past. It was just a lesson, not a life sentence. Nice, man. That's the truth, huh?
Yep.
I kind of forgot the ice, but please help yourself.
Oh, thank you.
I always joke, I am the food pantry lady, so I always have food.
You're one of those prepared types. I get that vibe.
I am.
All right, so a few more places for you guys.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
How you doing, sir?
Beverly, how are
Peter.
you?
Nice to meet you. All right, so Batcave, why is it called Batcave?
Because we have the 2 largest fisher caves in North America just right over here on this hill.
And there's just a ton of bats in there.
There used to be. That's why they now control it, because of some diseases that's going on with them. So
Okay.
they limit the access to the caves.
Okay, gotcha. You've been in charge of your town pretty much since this happened.
I've been here 35 years.
35
With the fire
years.
department, I've been the chief for the last 4 or 5.
How are things going right now, Chief?
It's getting better every day.
Better every day?
It's just going to be a slow process.
Okay.
We had the roads wash away and all that sort of thing.
I saw a bit of
And
that.
Unlike down more closer to Chimney Rock and all that, it's
Yeah.
narrow gorges here.
Yeah.
And what is happening is we keep one lane open, and they're going to have to be working on the roads while they do that.
Okay, so do you feel like you've gotten enough help, too little help, or just depends the day and whatever?
It's been terrific with DOT and Duke Power getting us power back here.
Okay.
We were the hardest hit in the county. We were without power for 33 days.
Ooh, okay.
And phone service dropped out, 911, everything when Helene hit.
Okay.
So we didn't have even phone service and stuff like that for a couple of weeks until we started getting Starlinks dropped in here and stuff like that.
Okay, that was a big help.
That was a tremendous help.
And so, as a newbie here, the very basics, you lived up there or you're fine, pretty much. You lived over there or you weren't. Is it that simple?
Nope, it's more complicated than that.
Okay.
We've got this gorge going this way, and then we got the gorge coming down Highway 9 and one coming down 64. So it makes basically a cross right here. It all comes together right down there at the bridge.
Okay.
And we're on a watershed. We're at the Continental Divide that goes all the way around, so it's like a big bowl. And all this water was coming these 3 ways and converging to go down through Chimney Rock. When the hurricane come in, it come down 64, and you see all the trees down on the mountains and stuff. That's where all the wind and the tornadoes and stuff came down and tore that up, and a little bit down toward Chimney Rock. We got wind, but not as bad going up 74 here.
Okay.
So what we had happen was the landslides coming off the top of the mountains down, because when that wind come through, we had 2 or 3 days worth of rain before the hurricane
Oh, it was just
actually
all
hit.
saturated.
It was saturated. When that wind come, it took trees, roots, and all. They would go a third of the way down the mountainside and stop up, and then the water would build behind it, break it loose. It'd go another third of the way. When it hit the bottom, it come down the gorge and was doing the same thing, making little mini lakes till it built up the pressure and break loose. So that's why the further you go toward Chimney Rock, the wider it's washed out. And
Gotcha.
that was what was causing that effect.
Okay. Do you feel like, I'm sure everyone has a different opinion with this one. That's why I try to ask many people. I just got here, so I asked a lady with just a chimney left, and she said she was happy with FEMA. What's your take from sort of like, if you can take the temperature of the community, because you know everyone here, what's the take
How about
on that?
a personal story?
All right, yeah, let's do it.
My house got hit.
Yep.
Landslide came
Yep.
into the back of it. I didn't let anybody know. We had other things to do. I was blessed enough to be able to stay in the house. I just had to shut off half of it. So I spent all my time rescuing and doing that sort of thing. Well, when FEMA came in, you apply for it and all that. Right off the bat, the first thing was, oh, we'll get you a place to stay and all that. 3 counties down, that was the first place. Couldn't do that.
Because you needed to be here for the
I've got to
recovery,
be
right?
here, yeah, I
Yeah,
couldn't
okay.
leave. And didn't leave.
Yep.
What happened though was, after that, my house had basically $20,000 worth of damage to it to fix. FEMA come in and looked at it, and they gave me $2,000. And everybody kept saying, keep appealing, keep appealing. I'm 7 months later, I'm on my 4th or 5th appeal, and I still ain't got no more than the $2,000 out of it.
You did all the paperwork,
But
right?
thank God for the Christian organizations, Spokes of Hope and all that, because they have come up and helped get me back. But if I was waiting for FEMA, I would be screwed.
Okay, so
That's
you're
as
not
blunt as it can be.
You're not happy, obviously. Okay, so it just depends who you talk. It just depends
Yeah.
Why would someone get preferential treatment versus?
We have no clue. It has got better since the politics changed after the election,
Okay.
but before that it was terrible.
Really?
And now a lot of more people are getting helped, but there's still some falling through the cracks. And I think it's just the bureaucracy of how big the agency is.
Okay, so if you're to do a pie chart, right? You had agencies like United Cajun Navy come in.
Yes.
You had, like you're saying,
Samaritan's Purse.
religious organizations.
Samaritan's Purse.
The federal government,
Yep.
right? The Army came in.
The Army came in.
So
Sheepdog came in.
So they all like played a somewhat equal part, or is there someone that's really like they all needed each other to make this happen, or what is your take on that?
My take on it from the early days on was Samaritan's Purse was in here right off the bat, along with Cajun Navy. They were here at the start trying to cut.
United Cajun Navy.
United Cajun.
Yeah.
They were here from the start, just trying to get us through here. We also had people that had heavy equipment, such as Jake Jarvis with Precision Grading, Ethan Fowler, which had another business kind of like Jake's. They grew up here, they lived here. They took their time, equipment, money, and everything, and cut their way in here so the DOT and everybody else could get in here to work too.
Okay. So what do you guys need now? I know you need more than $2,000 to rebuild your home, but what do you need now, would you say?
Right now, it's kind of transitioning. We need the roads back quicker.
Okay.
Everything's put off, and I don't know there's anything to be done better because they're not cleaning up the creeks and the rivers yet because you got to get the road structure back in. We're just in a really bad position not having the real estate to be able to do kind of like what you just saw down around Lake Lure and Chimney Rock back up.
Well, they put the road back in. I know it's a temp road, but that's been done pretty well,
but
right?
They're back to a 2-lane road. Up 74, 64, and 9. We've got 1-lane roads still that don't even have guardrails with red lights on them.
Oh yeah, I've been through a bunch of that so far today.
And it's going to take a year to get 2-lane road back in on all 3 of these ways.
Where are you living now? Are you living in your home? Or?
I'm still living in my home. I had Spokes of Hope with the Amish, and everybody came in and they repaired my home and everything.
Amish to the rescue.
Absolutely.
They're
I
awesome.
cannot say enough about.
You love them.
I love them to death. I'm actually going up next week to speak to them in Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's so cool.
Along with Shane.
I've made videos with the Amish.
They're
a cool
unreal.
bunch, huh?
They're unreal. The ones that come in, it's called their kids before they Rumspringa. They come down. So there was 18 of them come to my house, and they put the roof back on the house, and fixed the back wall on it, and worked on the barn and everything else, all in 5 days.
There were teenage kids doing Rumspringa.
They're all 18 to 21 years old.
So Rumspringa is when they can go off old order Amish and do their thing, right?
They go off into the world,
Yeah.
and they use all the tools and equipment and stuff. And then there's different sects of them. Some's more strict than others.
Yeah.
But before they're 21, they got to decide whether they want to stay in the family or if they want to go out into the world.
Yeah. From my understanding, most go back to the family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Rumspringa can be pretty hardcore. They can go on drinking binges or do something like what they did with you.
Yeah, what they're doing here is a lot like mission trips for like Baptists and stuff like
yeah.
that. They're coming down here and they're working hard the whole time here. But I mean, you talk to them, it's unreal. I've got 18 best friends up there, and I'm going up there next week to speak to more of them. So
that is awesome. I love the Amish story.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna take you got a great water truck over there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a shot of that.
Do you want me to pull it out so you get a better?
Yeah, let's do it.
Right up here?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Steve, you wanna stand right in front of it?
Sure.
You can cross your arms, look like the badass you are.
I don't know about that. I've got something else for you to look at. And the Amish fell in love with this. We had Kawasaki donate us UTVs.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's what Samaritan's Purse gave us.
Oh, you're loving that, huh?
It has a stretcher on it, just like you have in the back of a regular ambulance and everything else. So it's just a mini version of an ambulance that we can get to rough
This
places.
is a snowcat, isn't it?
I've got tires that will go on it also.
You're getting more Amish coming?
Yeah, Shane's going up there with me next week. They're coming and going to have a base camp just right out here. They're going to be our neighbors.
So Shane's turning Amish? Is that what you said?
No.
He's more Amish than all of us. He's the most Amish.
Yeah, he's got the beard.
With his beard, he'd be an elder. He's confused Amish because he's got his mustache with no beard. He don't know what to do.
Yep.
But we're close there. Mid-June, end of June.
Okay, awesome.
A state park bridge will be done. The temporary bridge.
Yeah.
They're doing a roundabout in front of Smokehouse there, but
What's he doing, Steve?
He's over Spokes of Hope.
we're just.
He's the founder of it. And
Spokes of Hope is another.
it's a religious
Religious,
organization
okay.
that
Sometimes
is
you lose it. It's
doing
on
all
the
the
books,
help
I'm
up
doing
here.
it.
They're actually rebuilding Chimney Rock. They're moving into
Well,
Batcave to help rebuild all these houses and stuff around here.
If you got resources to
And
share,
they've been tremendous.
because the labor's strong. I have a bus coming every week, still with about 60.
You're still bringing labor in?
Oh yeah, there's still a need.
Talk to us. We're making a video on the situation, if you don't mind telling your thoughts.
Well, it's just I'm going to go straight Jesus on you.
Okay, go for it.
But at the end of the day, God tells his people he'll never leave us or forsake us. And if we're going to come to a town and say, our God will never leave you or forsake you, and we leave in a couple weeks, then we forsake them. And what's the last thing Jesus said on the cross? It's finished. We got to finish.
Yes.
That's the way we do it, or we take people's faith away. We come in here almost taking God's name in vain when we think we're not going to stick around and grab a donation button and hitting the road. That's not the way. That's not the way God works. He took it to the cross all the way. If Jesus would have stopped 2/3 of the way and said, "That's it, I spent enough,"
That's right.
So you're going to the paint all the way.
dude, why not? He
Do
did
it,
it for us.
do it right or don't do it at all. Right?
Listen, if we're talking interview and out to the world and the media, yeah. Wake up, church. We need the capital C. We don't need a bunch of small C's. We need a capital C.
Okay,
working
what do
together.
you mean by that? Capital C, small C?
Psalms 133. The first verse says how God delights in the unity of brethren. Second verse talks about how beautiful it is. It's like the oil running down Aaron's beard to glisten off the mountains. And the third verse sums it up. It says, within the unity, God commands the blessing. He don't say maybe, I'll think about it. I'll spend down to 100,000 and keep the rest for my opera. No. He says, within the unity, I command it. I command the blessing. When we unify, and we unify, and God delights in that, he just says, bless that town.
Do you think there's a lot of small C out there? Is that what's going on?
If you want to look what separation looks like, count the churches. There's thousands and thousands of churches. And God, when he created mankind and humans, he said, this is my body. He didn't say body, to the fact where we beat each up theologically. But at the end of the day, we got to stay focused on God's command.
So let me ask you this. If someone has skills, they want to come out here and help work, and they're not religious, is that cool?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Listen, that's who you want the most. You want the broken. You want the lost. Everybody that comes here to work with Spokes of Hope, 2/3 of them are broken, seeking purpose. And they leave here, they find purpose.
Ton of purpose in this.
Ton of purpose in everything we do.
Yeah.
We just got to walk it out for the Lord. He'll put it in front of us. He'll do what we need to do. He'll line up the people. He'll line up the relationships, the materials, the finances. If we would just be obedient to God and say, yes, Lord, send me, I'll do it. Work with each other with no limitations. We could rebuild this whole valley in a year's time. It's over.
Very good to see you.
All right, now enter Colt is in the video. Colt, where are we going?
So we're gonna go to Lower
Okay,
Flat
I
Creek
can-
Road. It's essentially a holler. It's been washed out.
Holler, for those don't know, is a road up a valley, a tight valley where a lot of people, could be a lot, could be a little, right?
Yeah.
But usually tight knit.
Usually pretty tight, yeah.
You're gonna run it into a car? Yeah. Okay, I'll go with you guys.
Yeah,
I want one of
maybe
Shannon's
we'll do, like,
brownies too.
talking about it.
Those brownies are fire. Shannon, you're exiting?
I am.
Okay, well thank you. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Appreciate
It's
it.
been a pleasure.
Yeah, you have big
being
shoes to
here.
fill here. Cool. Big shoes. Shannon was really
I brought
good.
the brownies too,
Yeah. Yeah, Colt's not gonna replace that.
Thank you all. Thank you
Thank you.
I'll be in
Thank
touch.
you.
In Woodfin, there was another body found from the flood today in the French Broad River.
Still is happening.
Yeah, said it was discovered by a local fisherman. It said the man was wrapped in debris. You could tell the body would have been there for quite some time.
So they don't know the total death toll.
No,
Right.
it's going to be happening for, Colt will probably agree with me, years to come?
Yeah, because if you think about it, this was also during the leaf season, which is it's a very popular tourist time here. Nobody really knew how many people were actually here. The storm, it could affect one property, completely decimate it, and then the adjacent property right next door could be untouched. Looked like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, this is what Steve, the fire chief, said was the big problem, just the one lane stuff up here.
Yeah, it's looked like this really since Helene.
God, that's so much rebuild.
Yeah, it's enormous.
What's up with that guy? All his siding is gone. Is he rebuilding, or it got just
the water came
the water ripped it off?
Yeah, debris in the water. I think the water was moving at like probably 40 miles an hour or so. 20-ton trees and boulders.
Look at the landslide right there.
Oh, covered.
So, Colt, what brought you out here?
I don't know. It felt like I needed to be here. The first time I saw how bad it was, I just got involved. And I guess at first it was just me doing whatever I could by myself. I found other veterans that were up here doing the same thing, and we kind of clicked up. And then from there, I found myself in Batcave. It was the one place I could go where each day I could make the most difference.
Okay, tell me if you think my theory is right here. I'm meeting a lot of veterans today.
Yeah.
When you're in the Army or in the armed services, right, you have that cohesion, you have that purpose, you have that brotherhood.
Yep.
And when you get back to normal society, that goes away to some degree. And something like this brings that back. Is that fair to say?
That's accurate, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's accurate. The camaraderie, being in a austere place that is probably uncomfortable for most. For me, and probably a lot of guys like me, it feels like almost like deployment. A lot of us vets have skills and experiences, and then on top of that, we just tend to come together and work as a team very well.
Were you in Iraq or Afghanistan?
Afghanistan, yeah, 3 times.
What's up, man? How we doing?
One car.
One car's coming? Yeah. Thanks, brother. You're waiting on the bus? How is everything up here now?
Insane.
So we're now up a small hauler, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying every bridge was washed out?
Every single bridge.
So these people were totally removed?
They were either stuck on their property or they were unable to access it afterwards if they weren't there.
Okay, gotcha. How you doing, sir?
Hi.
How are things going?
Fine, I'm just picking up trash from people leaving trash out here.
Who's leaving trash?
From the construction workers. For somebody, I don't know. I mean, there's just water bottles all over the place. And
You live here? Mm-hmm. How's it going now, other than the trash?
it's going. My road's been pretty much rebuilt, but hoping they pave this soon.
We're making a video on the area. Want to show what you guys are going through, how things are?
Yeah, well, it's not pretty. But
Going in the right direction, though?
yes, yeah, I think so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Take care. This is a nice road.
If you would have seen it 2 months ago, you would have questioned whether you wanted to drive down it.
Okay, so with reconstruction, it's like some people will think it should be done in 2 days, right?
Yeah.
And some people are fine with it being done in 3 years, I'm sure. It depends who you talk to.
Correct, yeah.
How do you feel, you guys, things are coming along here in an area like this?
Well, our expectations at first were that there isn't enough effort to repair the infrastructure so that more people can come in and help.
Oh, okay.
But after a couple months up here and undertaking large jobs to rebuild driveways and bridges and so on, we understood a little bit better how impossible it was to feel like this could be repaired in any quick amount of time.
Okay, this might seem silly, but I'm gonna go for it. Ready? You were in the armed services.
Yeah.
We could go into Baghdad really quickly if we wanted to, right?
Oh yeah.
Or Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Like, The military wants to move, it moves.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking from the outside, why don't we put that effort on something like this? But are you saying it's just sort of even impossible in that sense? Or what are your thoughts on that?
I don't think that it's impossible. I just believe that it's too big of a misunderstanding what needs attention. For instance, if a road's destroyed and everybody down that road, except for one, just has a VRBO or a rental there, then they're losing income because they can't have guests there. But if that one person out of all the rest is actually a resident, then it's their life. They can't live in their home.
Okay, let me ask you this then. I mean, do you think like as a country to situations like this, we could do way better? As in bringing the resources more so? Or it's so complicated, just the scale of it is so huge that...
It's the scale. I don't think that America has ever, you know, at least in modern times, had to deal with damage on this level.
Someone in Florida is going to, yell at you in the comments, but...
Yeah, but they're prepared. They have the infrastructure down there to respond to
They're
storms.
not dealing with these haulers.
Yep.
Okay, what's up here?
So if you wanted to get out, I want to show you a picture of what this looked like before. This was essentially a lake. If you don't understand heavy equipment, then you may not understand how much work it is to backfill an area that was washed out.
Just like this area.
Just like this area.
Came right up
They
to
couldn't
it.
come across here. They used a ladder to get up. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, so I want to let the audience know that the scale is impossible to show on camera because the camera's off a lot of times in between the destinations. You guys don't want to watch a million hours of footage of just driving. And the topography in this part of the country, in Appalachia, hill, holler, hill, holler, hill, holler, valley, it's just, there's a lot of detail.
Oh yeah.
A lot of texture. Yeah. So there's a holler here, there's probably like over that hill, another holler, right? And
yeah.
It just keeps going and going and going.
Yep.
So this is a project you were on.
Yeah, I started the initial conversation with the family and I told them we were gonna do everything we could for them. And we figured maybe a natural bridge and a driveway to get to their house so they didn't have to park across the river. And it turned into this. Now, I haven't seen them in a while because there was an accident and moving debris and chimney rock and an excavator dropped a tree on my foot. I had surgery in February and I'm just now getting back on my feet up here.
How you doing, ma'am?
I'm good. Are you?
Good, Peter.
Unisami?
Hello, Tyler.
Unisami. Your name is Unisami? Oh, that's an interesting name. Very nice. Sounds Japanese.
Well, it's not.
All right. Unisami, how are things for you right now?
Well, as far as the place goes, it's really, really well. But I'm going in the 15th and having complete hip replacement surgery.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Without these guys, we wouldn't be where we are today.
Okay.
They're the most compassionate, loving, caring people that I have ever met in my life.
And so when the flood happened, when the hurricane happened, you waited out or you got out of here?
Well, we were stuck here.
You were stuck here?
Yes.
How wild was that?
Out.
Helicoptered out?
Yes.
By who?
I believe it was Operation Hilo. Yeah, Operation Hilo.
This happened on Friday morning, and we left Monday morning.
So when you're watching the river rise and start to take away the riverbank and come close to your house, what's going through your head at that time?
Oh, Lord. I was scared to death. I was really scared. Have you ever listened to croquet balls hit when people's playing croquet?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Well, that's what it sounded like.
And that's just the big boulders slamming against one another. Coming down the river.
Uh-huh.
How fast was it going? Just super fast?
It was flying. But the cousin and my husband was standing on the front porch, and the waves, the water was going up above top of the house, going over like that. It knocked
over this house?
Yes, over the front.
Oh, wow.
Down through that part there, that was all trees. And it was like somebody took a machete and was just chopping, and the yard was just falling off, just leaving. We had a rock wall that come across here, well, the bridge come across the driveway, and then we had the rock wall where our yard went out, and it just left. My mother-in-law and father-in-law built those walls. She laid the rock.
When she built them?
They built the house in 1958. The first people that came up from Batcave disaster, I was sitting here and I was just looking out and I was about to cry. I mean, it was awful. And Gene told me, he said, in about 30, 45 minutes, they're going to start working out here. I said, who? He said, well, I don't know who they are, but they said that they were going to get their equipment and they're coming back to work. They worked until dark. When we looked out, all we saw was trees. We looked like we had a sawmill down there at the end of our property. I mean, it was up higher than this house, and it's gone.
Their septic tank was completely washed away, and I think their current bid to have a new septic tank dug, installed, perk test, all that, it's in the low $30,000 range. And it's just, I mean, it might as well be $30 million because they don't have it.
Where does their septic go now?
They don't have one.
They don't have septic?
They don't have, no, they're using a bucket.
Seriously?
Yeah. We just don't have $30-something thousand to build them, to have it installed. And they've had other groups. There was a group from Asheville that was like, oh yeah, we're gonna come do it for you, and they just disappeared.
That's not a FEMA come in federal government thing?
I don't think they did much for them, if anything.
So just like I thought about ahead of time getting into this, I'm like, I'm gonna hear everything. It just depends who you talk to.
Yeah.
There's no consensus.
Yeah.
And anyone that's telling you there is just cherry picking the info, right?
Yeah.
And then one thing I want to mention with that too is, like, I've been to East Palestine, I've been to Lahaina, and in East Palestine, I thought everyone would have been pissed at the federal government. The majority of people I talked to weren't. They said they did a great job.
Yeah.
So it was totally the opposite. And when I was in Lahaina, the information I got there was more like, what's taking so long? We're pissed. Nothing's being rebuilt. So it's just like, it's so hard to understand, really.
With every person, it's different.
And with every person, it's different, because some people, like, they believe the world owes them everything.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And they think, like, you should do everything for me, always. And then some people are like, oh, I don't deserve anything, I don't want anything.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, the mindset, too, determines how they're going to look at this thing.
Yeah. Well,
right?
and it's like these folks here, when I met them, I was at the entrance down where this holler begins. I was at the entrance. They were just driving out, and I just stopped them. I said, hey, I'm trying to get up there and meet everybody here that, just to see if you need anything. And they said, oh, we lost our entire front yard and our house is about to fall into the creek. And so I got his number. A week later, I came up here and, I walked inside just like we did, and his wife was in tears. And it was too much for her. And this is childhood home, the trauma from this. I mean, they were in shock, for the first couple months. If not, a lot of people probably still are, but
yeah.
The wonderful thing is that to go from what happened here to have people come from all over the country and to put in a day, a week, 2 weeks here and volunteer and help, they paid us nothing, not a single dime. And we've been able to give them as much as we could, and for those folks, they're simple, and that's more than they could have ever asked for.
Crazy, look at the guardrail
All the
way on
way
the
down
other
there,
side of the
yeah.
river. We're following Colt now. He's gonna show us some homes they're rebuilding, right?
Yep.
And then we're going to where?
So then we're going to go to our warehouse. It's called Better Together. It's Adventures in Mission, Operation Blessing, United Cajun Navy, and Excel College. And everything's on donor base. So all of our lumber that comes in, our insulation that comes in, our drywall mud, it's all staged there. So we have it set up from beginning of a rebuild, and then you walk around you make a 360 of the warehouse, and it's from start to finish.
And as long as this video is gonna be, it's just such like a little surface level tour today.
I could take you around for the next 2 weeks, and every day I could show you somewhere different that's just devastated.
And have you seen anything like this online at this stage of the game, showing like a wide range of what's going on?
Not at all. No.
Not at all?
Nope.
It looks like a lot of repetition, guys, everyone who's watching, but it's all new. Different roads, different machines. This must be it, huh?
Yeah, this is where we're...
Hey, Colt, let me put this back on you. How you doing, sir?
Good, how are you?
Doing well.
You might actually want to put this on Mark.
Okay, Mark.
Because he knows all about this job.
Mark's like, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
You're here, right? You're here every day?
Him and
You
his
hold this
wife-
for a second?
Yeah, him and his wife.
I gotta put this on.
You're the man.
The volunteer hub, our volunteer hub is on, and they are
Okay.
leading the charge in our group. It's their operation, and we're all part of it.
Nice, Mark.
Yeah, well, we do what we can, neighbors helping neighbors.
Let's check it out.
So it was 4 households, 3 of them were totally destroyed. We've helped half of them go through the property, try to save any personal items, valuables, stuff like that.
Can we walk up there?
Yeah, we've got the 3rd one, Ben, up there with his buddy, and Patch and I are up there. We're trying to help him dig out his stuff. They're musicians,
That's wild.
kids.
Over 7 months later.
Yeah, and we just heard about this like 4 days ago, 5 days ago, that we actually had to build pads to get the equipment around on.
So the property owners are up here?
They are rentals. Our thing is primary homes and veterans homes are what we focus on, but all this is where the driveway was. All of that came out of the driveway for us trying to get access up here.
Okay, yeah,
for
the old
this.
barrier wall here, and this was all in the driveway.
Yeah.
Okay. So
you're gonna get filthy.
Yeah, that's all right.
We're trying to do us a little ramp up here so that we can haul the debris out for the roadside pickup. We've got a FEMA contractor that's following us.
Okay. How has that experience been with the FEMA contractor?
Hopefully this one will be good. So far up till now, they haven't really followed through real well. The county stopped roadside pickup, free pickup 4 days ago. So now you have to go through the county to get permission.
Okay.
So these are like landings we had to build because it was so wet. This is how we have to get the machines around up here, because if not, they'll sink out. That was a house up there. You see the trail down the hill where it ended up over there.
So past 7 months.
And this is this kid's first chance to get into his house.
Why couldn't he get in here earlier?
Nobody would help him. Everything was buried. The back wall was all mud. Don't kill me, Joey.
How you doing, sir?
But you can see right there is the back wall of the house where the slide came down the hill.
Oh, wow. It's like an avalanche.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a violent landslide, and that's what affected Batcave and the people that lived here and in Girton and like the holler up there. This affected more people and more properties than the water did.
Okay, so there's a few things going on. Living near the river is obviously dangerous.
Yeah.
But near one of these slide paths.
Living on a slope next to the river around here, with the soil composition and whatnot.
So you got like batteries and all sorts of stuff coming out here.
Everything that you would have in a home.
We got about 4 guys that are regulars, and they've been here since the beginning. Hey, Patch, can you take a second, brother?
So where are you from?
I am a local. And then my wife and I was the postal contractor in my family for this area for 47 years.
Postal contractor, meaning like the rural
bulk transportation contractor. We had 24-foot box trucks that hauled the mail from Asheville to the Lake Lure office. So I've rode this road my whole life. I know everybody on it.
Okay.
We ended up buying the property that the post office is on. And I'm a general contractor and most of my clients were down here. So after the storm, we just had to make a choice on what we were gonna do.
Who's paying for this?
Donations. Batcave Disaster Relief. Check us out, Facebook,
Batcave
TikTok.
Disaster Relief, okay.
Yeah.
Can we talk to Patch?
Yeah.
All right, I gotta take the
Feel
furry.
free, thank you.
You're great, come on. Patch, how you doing? Peter. Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
All right, you too. Okay, so how we explain, like, things are still getting dug into after 7 months.
Right now, I mean, everything kind of comes in phases, right? Everybody wants to come down and do first responders. Then you have your second responders. And slowly these people get forgotten about, you know, and these people have been forgotten.
Okay.
Vehicles are still here.
A lot of it's word of mouth because without you or social media or whatever, a lot of people don't know that we exist even in our own town.
Yeah, I mean, from the outside, I don't live in the state. And even people living in the state, a lot don't have any clue what's going on, right? It's hard to really know.
In your neighborhood, because we're so, like, everything's so rural.
Yeah.
You know, that you don't see everybody every day.
Right. So, Patch, what do you think has gone right and what's gone wrong with this whole operation since September 27th? Let's just say federal response, local response, you take it how you want.
Federal, I don't see any.
You don't see any?
Personally. That's my personal opinion.
Okay.
I mean, there's some FEMA help, right? Some of our people that we've worked with get FEMA help, but nobody's out here doing this. We're 100% volunteer. So where's the government in that? I haven't seen it. Been here 7 months, almost 8 months. I haven't seen it.
Do you guys feel like you're being forgotten at this point?
Hurricane Helene was forgotten 3 weeks after, as far as the news media goes. If you look up that ridge, that's where all this came from.
Yeah, that's wild.
This is not a flood that people are used to. This is a catastrophic event that they just forget about the hillbillies, man. It's Americans helping Americans. And
so let me ask you this. What happened in Palisades in LA? That got a lot of attention, obviously.
Right.
To be fair, that's like in a small geographic area.
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy, the scale and scope.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I was talking to the county sheriff, and we were trying to figure out how many square miles was affected. It's probably 10,000 square miles. Because he said just this county alone is 100 square miles. So
everything has been county related. All the energy that's gone in down here has gone to Chimney Rock and Lake Lure. They're incorporated. They have a city council. They had a mayor. They have Spokes of Hope. They've had the 101st Airborne. They have the United Cajun Navy. Henderson County is Batcave and Girton. It's this little sliver right here.
Yeah.
If all the action isn't going to Chimney Rock and Lake Lure, it's going to Fairview and Asheville. This is just kind of like no man's land right in here that nobody's really taking care of.
Gotcha.
He's the one that lived here.
It's your house? You're his friend?
Yeah.
You're a good friend. Like, a good friend is someone that helps them move, and then this is next level, you know? Anything else you want to say, Patch, or you nailed it?
I mean, I can get on my soapbox, but that don't need to go on YouTube.
Are you saying we're getting a filtered version right now?
Yes, very.
You're pissed off.
I'm not mad. I mean, it's...
Kind of expect it.
It confirms everything I believe.
What's that?
Just that most Americans are on their own. If you get into the God thing, I think this was a test in humanity, right? And as a whole, the United States has failed in humanity because everybody's forgotten down here. So it is what it is.
So you'd want federal response coming into your area here, like right away. A lot of attention.
No, this is not my area. I'm a volunteer. I'm from Indiana.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very
I've been
cool.
Down here since the end of October.
Wow.
So I'm 100% volunteer.
Very cool.
So, but what are these people supposed to do? The insurance doesn't cover it because it's flood. If it's a landslide, it's flood. If mud touches this house, it's flood. Doesn't matter if trees came down on it first and destroyed it. If the mudslide comes in and takes it out, it's flood damage. What are they supposed to do? So, that's all I got.
All right, Patch. Thank you, brother.
These guys are gonna be here on and off the rest of the week.
Okay.
Hopefully Roland's gonna be coming up tomorrow and getting our tree debris since the road's closed.
See, you lived here.
Yeah. I have been out here several times. It was just pretty much next to impossible to even do any sort of recovery because it's just everything is just it's just dangerous to even sift through everything and just even I had to cut holes into sections of the house with a chainsaw and a sawzall as well as the first time we were coming out here we were helping the Girton Fire Department and the survey teams just to even like keep cutting to make roadways to come out here. My roommate that was was in the house at the time got airlifted out in a helicopter.
You were renting out here?
Yeah, we were doing like a rent-to-own thing.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. He was inside the house when it all burst, just riding a piece of drywall, and it kind of exploded out on this side down here.
Mm-hmm.
We did a lot of electronic mods for video game systems and music instruments and old keyboards, repair, and we had a few bands and recording studio for a lot of people. And
what's your take on the recovery right now?
I mean, it's been over 6 months. At least I'm trying to get some whack at it. I'm glad the Batcave disaster reached out and they're willing to help me.
That's cool.
Just get a little bit of peace of mind. I've been trying to move on from this for a minute, and it's hard to, especially when just FEMA was a pain in the ass.
How so?
Just trying to even convince them to even take pictures of my house because it was. For a while, there was no access to this property because of there was a house that was just right on the tip of the street. And that chick is trying to make a lawsuit happen out of this stuff. And, I don't really know what her route is with her goal in mind with that was. But, it just made it difficult to even get sort of anything out here. I mean, trying to even get them to go past that and take the right pictures of shit. And it was just a pain in the ass. I mean, it was just like 5 months of even fighting them just to even get any resemblance of money, and when it's like I've built a list of just like everything that I know that was in there, not even everything, just all the expensive shit that I know that I spent money on just 10 years of my life compiling,
Did they give a good amount? Did they give
no, I mean, I asked for $47,000 in losses and damages and they gave me like 10,000 something.
And you had all this music stuff.
Yeah, we did a lot of music repair and mods, and so you can see some of our keyboards right here.
Yeah.
We had mod, and then we'd add these switches. And
that's your business?
Yeah.
Cool.
And our PlayStation unit is. We uncovered one of our mod PlayStations. We'd mod these PlayStations, and we break out the GPU on the PlayStation 2 and break it into a patch bay with all these switches and knobs, so it glitches out the game, but the game still functions the same. It's really fun.
Where do you live now?
Out of a camper that was donated to me by Divine Disaster Relief. Super awesome people that reached out to me, hearing about everything I've been going through.
So the local community and people helping out has been pretty impressive?
Yeah, definitely. I'll say that. Your neighbors, your friends, and friends of friends, and,
nice.
People that live right beside you didn't even know, This storm impacted more than what people think, and I think that the way the media covered it, the mainstream media, really just blew it off to quite a degree to, let's now worry about the next thing, or
that's how it works.
Some other jargon that's going on that's,
But I'm surprised I'm seeing this. I didn't think this would be happening now.
There's a lot of places like this, like Batcave and Girton and Hot Springs area, and where were your buddies? Where you got he adopted a dog from these people that Burnsville area and stuff. A lot of those areas really got completely devastated to a point to where it was hard for the media to even get out there to even cover it to even just now where the roadways are actually able to get drive through, and they don't. You still don't even power. They're still running power lines out here. it's going to be years of recovery, you know. And it was just beautiful nature. And
It is beautiful.
Secluded, you know, but, you know.
Special part of the country for sure.
I just came up here from Athens just to...
Athens, Georgia?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
Marty's second trip up helping.
Nice, Marty.
I'm a carpenter.
Nice. Okay, that's the one good thing I've noticed today, just first day here. Brings people together, gives purpose. Fair to say?
Yeah.
Like,
and what we really work at our hub is we do community dinners. We think food does a lot with it. So my wife works hard with America Cares and other donors. We get fresh vegetables in, we hand them out to the community. But like last week, we had Chris come up from South Carolina with Mike at Sapphire. We did hamburgers, hot dogs. Community comes out. It's like watching neighbors become neighbors again, like when we were kids. That's what we're trying to promote here.
That's cool.
You know, everybody, like, they knew who lived there, but now they actually know them, met them.
Okay.
So that's what we're trying to promote. I will say that if anybody tells me any crazy story about a disaster zone, I would believe it.
Yep.
No matter how crazy it is, just believe it.
What do you mean?
It's like Bizarro world down here. Before the we've seen, I never would have believed, but after going through this for 7 months, next time I'm watching TV and somebody says some off-the-wall crap about a disaster, it's got to be absolutely true. Because what we're seeing on the news and what we see every day, it doesn't even resemble each other. I mean, it's not even close. We just wonder where they get their stories from.
They're not doing a good job, you're saying?
Oh, no. Hell, we don't even get any local coverage down here.
Local doesn't? This is the biggest story, obviously.
No. They hit Lake Lure and Chimney Rock a lot because that's where their affiliates are. You know, it's household income per capita. Chimney Rock and Lake Lure is the richest community in the gorge. Batcave and Girton aren't. We're in an unincorporated area, so we have no leadership. So where are our leaders?
Well, I'm glad you brought me in here, guys, because I want the stories that aren't being told, so. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Crazy when a landslide.
It's insane destruction. It's just, it's a bit mind-boggling. I gotta say that we're over 7 months, and I'm gonna reiterate that a few times, but like,
It's this far
that this is just being touched, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
For the first, look at that propane tank right there. I would feel really left out if this was my place, you know? Over 7 months.
7 months, yeah.
It's so much new information today, but what I'm not, like, I talked to a lady this morning, right? She had just a chimney left to her house, right?
Yeah.
She was in good spirits. She was
Yeah.
like, FEMA came through, feeling good about everything.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I got. Then I'm here. Help me understand the recovery. Like how this is unacceptable in my view. Like over 7 months later, like we should have whomever, if the local population can't take care of it, which I totally understand if they couldn't, which they are up here, but 7 months later, we'd have a federal government intervention here or the military or something just putting their whatever up here to remove all this shit out of the way.
There's just not enough readiness, and I don't think there's anything that we have in our country that can come here and deploy for as long as it's going to take to make a difference here and sustain.
Okay, put a man on the moon. Okay, some people are going to say you didn't and the earth is flat. Okay, but we went into, you saw Afghanistan. You saw that infrastructure that was rolled out there, right? You know what happened in Iraq, how quickly we're in there. Like, it's within the capability of the country.
It is. I think the big difference is that what we train our forces for.
Yeah.
For instance, when the National Guard deployed here, when the governor of North Carolina deployed the National Guard here, I think on day 2 or 3 or 4, they had, and I'm sure there were some here within 24 hours, but and everywhere, but they had no idea how to respond to this.
Yeah.
They had no equipment. They had no idea what they needed, because you could drive a mile and see a completely different type of disaster every mile almost, you know?
Right, but we're mofo America.
True.
We can make shit happen.
We can make stuff happen, but I think that what we're doing is what that looks like. And now, could it be done better and paid for by the federal government? Yeah, and it should be.
Okay, don't you think this is a point in time where like it can get this bad?
Yeah.
So we're gonna take all the information from this catastrophe, learn from it because something will happen again, obviously.
Yep.
And then so next time, we're gonna be set up as much as we can to make sure this doesn't happen over 7 months later.
Yep. And I think
Right.
that whoever leads that development records what happened here, and in the military we call it an after action review.
Yep.
I think whoever leads that needs to bring in folks like us and other great volunteers that have successfully navigated
right
everything here to remove people from the disaster that they're trying to figure out how to get out of.
Yep.
You know, so
well,
there's not enough resources for folks like this. They just don't exist, you know.
They exist.
They probably,
if we want it bad enough as a
Yeah.
country, they exist.
I just don't think they exist here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys, we're now following Tyler because we got to go separate directions at the end of this. But look at this, just over the hillside, it's total normal life, or at least it looks like it. You know, unless their work was affected, seemed to be totally normal here. You come into a town like this and you would never know anything happened. It is such a trip to be in those haulers that have been devastated and then going past gas stations and being on a highway, and it's just totally normal feeling life. Those people over there can be in the rebuild phase, and these people might have never had anything happen. Just a heavy rainstorm with some strong winds, and then the next day they could be on the highway and driving wherever.
This is Colt with Batcave Disaster Relief.
Hey,
this is Jack.
Good to meet you.
What's Jack doing here?
So he's the warehouse manager. You can tell him a little more about what you do.
Manager, pretty much manage all the supplies that come in and out. Also helping out, just sort of run all of the base camp operations itself.
Let's check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming down and doing what you're
Yeah,
doing. We
no,
appreciate
thanks for getting me in because it would be really hard to get in what I got into. Well, some of it impossible because you needed clearance to get through.
Yeah.
So this is like the dining hall area. So this is where they feed everybody, and then this is where volunteer housing sleeps.
Oh, volunteer housing.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
I'll open
cool.
up the garage door.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's all bunkhouses through here.
Is there anyone in there now?
I don't think so right now. On the weekends, they usually kind of rotate in and out, but there's showers here, bathrooms here. These are all bunkhouses. It sleeps like 74, I think. Is it 74? It sleeps?
86 in there.
86.
Serious operation.
Yeah. We have groups every week of about 150 volunteers per group.
Oh, that's cool.
150 people come through each week, and we're rebuilding. I think we're on track. By the end of the year, we're going to have functionally completed 300 homes. So
300 homes.
Yeah.
You guys. Okay,
Yep.
Operation Blessing is different than United Cajun
Yeah,
Navy.
we're just
Navy?
we're partnered. We're all doing the same thing. Yeah.
So actually, what this place is the Better Together Coalition.
Okay.
And so it's a bunch of different partners that came together and said, we can actually make a bigger impact if we work together.
Work together.
Let's walk around.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the biggest players are Operation Blessing, Excel College, and Adventures Relief, and World Vision, and Mercury One. Cajun Navy's been playing a big part. We got Valley Hope Church is playing a huge part. So there's a bunch of different organizations that have come together, and each one's kind of managing different aspects of the project. We're stacked up with drywall, stacked up with shingles, tons of flooring over here, tons of insulation, tons of wood, and then we have all the things to outfit houses.
Jack, what's your story? Where do you live?
So I actually live with Excel College, about 2 minutes up the road from here. And when the hurricane hit, we turned our campus into a distribution center.
Okay.
Then as time went on, we're like, oh my gosh, we can actually help long term. So we partnered with everyone to rebuild all the homes. And so Excel College is the one sort of hosting on this property.
That's like your normal 4-year college?
It's actually a very different kind of college experience.
Okay.
It's 3 years, and it's a small Christian college that is pretty much seeking to everything that people find bad about the typical college experience. Excel is trying to reverse all that. So
you mean exams? They're getting rid of exams?
yeah, they do still have exams.
Okay.
But it's things like no debt, focus on the holistic person, teach them how to actually live life.
I just keep walking and I'm guiding you back here.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, we got kitchen trailers back there. We got shower trailer here, bathroom trailer here.
Oh, that's the shower for the volunteers.
Yeah. So this week we planned as like a rest week for the team because all summer long there's going to be no rest. So it's 150 people in and out every 6 days.
Do you guys want more people?
We definitely want more leaders. We want people who can be here long term, committed, not just the in and out. But we always want more in and out as well, but especially leaders. So
Colt is styling with the Batcave sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Who knew they made those?
Oh yeah.
I wish I had one of those.
Yeah.
So this tent's split in half. We got male on this side, female on that side. Pretty much just loaded up with as many people as
Is there
possible.
ever any crossover?
No, not in here.
Not that you know about.
Not well, yeah. When you have a bunch of college kids, you never really know.
Right, like that's not the
You only
sturdiest of
find
walls.
out like 6 months later.
You can sort of like, do a little of that. But hey, I bet relationships are formed through this experience.
Oh, I bet.
Like
We've already seen a couple.
Like this guy right here.
Yeah, right.
You met his
Yeah,
lady
we've
here.
already
Did
seen
you
a
know
few.
that?
Yep.
Can I say that on camera?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
You met your lady here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Not
here's
here, but in Western North Carolina.
Okay, so this is the food
So this
hall.
is kind of our dining room, meeting area, where we go over the plans.
The coolest part about this whole thing.
Kind of debrief at the end. We'll do prayer and worship in here.
Can I show my favorite part?
Totally.
Is there a secret door? What's going on?
Yeah.
Oh.
It spins to the office.
So there's our war room in the back where we come up with all the plans for the day, and then we can rotate that out to share with the whole group. So
I didn't even get into that today, but I can't imagine the logistics, especially in the beginning, like the organization of all of this and like how people don't get in each other's way and step on everyone's toes, and they're like log jamming a road with a million trucks.
Yeah.
And it still happens.
Yeah,
So
we have
I didn't even get into that. but-
We have a big team doing logistics and data and planning and nothing else.
Okay.
Takes
do
a
you-
lot of things
do-
on the back
Do you
end.
love doing it?
I love it, yeah. I quit my job a few months ago because I just saw how much need there was. And I was like, I was working a desk job as an engineer. I'm like, I can't stand to not be helping people. And so came
that's
full time with Operation Blessing. And
That's
it's
the
amazing.
unifying theme today. Is everyone finds a lot of purpose in this?
Oh my God.
For sure.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah. And it's fun too. I mean, we're seeing like miracles like every single
day. Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
unbelievable. So.
Okay, so is it just because I'm with you guys today that I see religion everywhere, or is it pretty much most people helping out, like with whatever group are like religious-based groups?
Most of the groups helping out long term are religious. Yeah. It's
That's how it goes, huh?
Churches and
The vast majority.
faith-based organizations. Yeah.
Okay, because I'm seeing the window through my
Yep.
view through Tyler, so I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
One
can
of my
some-
favorite quotes from a homeowner is, "I love me some good sweaty Christians." So.
Right here at the end of the property, they found 9 fatalities. This is Miss Amy. This is her property. The United Cajun Navy has donated her this.
This one right here?
Yes, this Apex. This is actually the Christmas tree we bought her at Christmas that I think she's trying to keep alive.
Do you guys still want campers?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we've helped them with, building supplies and generators and fuel throughout the winter. We brought all the hay to underpinning these there.
So this is for the people that still need their homes to be rebuilt.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're getting the temporary housing.
Yes, sir.
And United Cajun Navy provides that.
Yes, sir.
Is everyone addressed, or is there a long waiting list for this stuff?
There's still a long waiting list. I mean, there was 184,000 homes that were, either completely damaged or no longer there, or minor damages, but that's the number of affected homes from Hurricane Helene.
Okay.
So right here, this is their house used to sit right on this side. You can see where the power meter was. It sat right here on this back side.
So when will Miss Amy's home be rebuilt here, do you think?
Next project we have, we've jumped dirt there. So we're gonna grade out more. There's another truckload of dirt coming tomorrow.
Okay.
We'll remove this tree and then they can start the foundation planning, but it's the plan to be done by December.
December?
Yep.
And you guys are doing it?
Yeah, well, not all of us, but it's 3 organizations that are doing it together to help.
Okay. Yep. And then that will be fully covered by all the organizations?
Yes, sir.
Some FEMA money probably?
Yeah, because I know they got FEMA money as well.
Does FEMA, so she'll get money from FEMA and then she'll pay you guys?
So she'll get money from FEMA. I'm not really sure how that works. I know they can use it for certain things. I think they have to send their receipts to FEMA when FEMA gives them the money. But a lot of the work that we're doing, we're donating the lumber, we're donating the concrete, we're donating the supplies to build the home and then actually come out and help assist with the general contractor to build the home.
Okay.
I met Miss Amy. She used to walk because the road and the bridge and stuff weren't open at first. She would walk a half a mile over to, it's called Blunt Pretzels, and she would get food for her family every day and then walk back and bring it to it. Okay. So I met her over there. Yep.
So like you just said off camera, we could be going for days and weeks doing this.
Yeah, days and weeks.
Okay. Well, I think we gave a good overview today.
Yeah.
So guys, I'm gonna leave all the links down below of the organizations I met up with. The United Cajun Navy, not Cajun Navy or one of the million other names, but United Cajun Navy, right?
Yes, sir.
Is you guys.
Yep.
And they were the ones that brought me around today through Tyler. So thank you, man.
Of course.
That was awesome.
Yes, sir.
Colt, appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And lastly, I've been here a day. I'm no expert on the situation. I try my best to get different perspectives and angles. And it was interesting from one woman saying she loved FEMA to the fire chief saying, you look pretty pissed at FEMA.
Yeah.
And so it's not an easy answer to any of this, and it's very complicated. And the stretch of territory today is insane. And that's only a small part of it.
Small part of it, yep.
Yeah, and guys, I'm gonna be doing my next video going on a solo mission as far out as I can get in one day and coursing through many of these towns and try to talk to as many people to get more information.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
cool.
Good stuff, guys.
Love it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for coming on this journey. Until the next one.